Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for not attending my sister's wedding after she used my baby name for her dog? I, 29F, am married to my husband, 31M, and we're currently expecting our first child after years of trying. It's been a really emotional journey. There were some fertility struggles, a miscarriage last year, and honestly, we weren't sure if we'd ever get here. But now I'm 6 months along with a healthy baby girl, and we're over the moon. Ever since I was a teenager, I've had a favorite name, Lila. It's my dream name for a daughter, and I've talked about it so many times that my whole family knows it's my name. It has a special meaning to me. My late grandmother was named Delilah, and it's my way of honoring her. My husband loves the name too, so we decided pretty early on that this would be our baby girl's name. 6 months ago, my younger sister Emma, 27F, got a golden retriever puppy. We were all excited for her. She's always been an animal lover and was thrilled to finally get her own dog. But when she introduced us to the puppy, she casually said, "This is Lila." At first, I thought she was joking. I even laughed and said, "No way, Emma. You know that's my baby name." But she just shrugged and said, "It's a name, not a copyright." I thought it was cute for a dog. I was honestly stunned. I didn't want to make a big scene, so I let it go in the moment, but it really bothered me. As time went on, the whole family started referring to her dog as Lila, and it's become the default association. At my baby shower last month, I was talking to some family members about the nursery, and when I mentioned naming the baby Lila, my aunt literally laughed and said, "You're not actually naming your baby after Emma's dog, right?" I felt humiliated. I tried to brush it off, but the more I think about it, the more it hurts. I finally sat Emma down privately and told her how I was feeling. I explained how important the name is to me, how it's tied to Grandma, and how much it means to me after everything we've been through to have this baby. Emma rolled her eyes and said, "Oh my God, you're seriously still mad about this? It's just a dog's name. You don't own Lila." I told her that while I'm still going to name my daughter Lila, she's made it really awkward for me. She laughed and said, "Awkward for you, not for me." Now, Emma is getting married in 2 weeks, and I'm supposed to be her maid of honor. But I've been feeling more and more like I can't do it. I don't want to stand up there and celebrate her when I feel like she doesn't respect me or care about my feelings. Last week, I told her that I wasn't sure I could attend the wedding because of how hurt I've been about everything. She lost it. She called me selfish and accused me of ruining her big day over something as stupid as a name. She even told me, "You're the one making this a thing. Nobody cares except you." My parents are siding with her, saying I'm being petty and hormonal and need to let it go because family is more important than a name. My husband, on the other hand, is furious. He says Emma has been dismissive and mean, and I shouldn't have to put my feelings aside just to keep the peace. Now I feel torn. I know skipping her wedding is a huge deal, and I don't want to cause a permanent rift, but I also feel like Emma has completely dismissed my feelings and made this whole situation worse. Am I the bad person for not attending her wedding? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for being upset with my MIL and crying in front of her for taking my son to see Santa before us when she knew I wanted to enjoy all the firsts? My husband and I, both 33, had our son a few months ago. We tried to have a baby for years and we're so incredibly thankful to have him, but he is for sure our only child. I can no longer have children after the complications surrounding his birth. This means all the firsts to me are more special, and I have spoken about that with friends and family. My MIL has always been so lovely and supportive through this, and I told her I had booked a visit to Santa for this weekend so my husband and I can take him together and enjoy this first with him. Last week she asked if she could have our son for a few hours to take him shopping. She knew I had a couple of appointments and she said she wanted some grandma and grandbaby time. I said sure. She brought him back 3 hours later and said things had been good. 2 days after she had our son, we saw a photo of her with him taking him to meet Santa. I admit to crying when I saw it. We haven't taken him yet. She knew that. We even talked about it before she left with him. My husband called up his mom and asked what the photo was and why she'd taken him. She told him she'd wanted to get some photos of the two of them and to document a special grandma and grandbaby day. She ended up coming over and asking why my husband was acting like she did something wrong. He said she did. That she knew how much we wanted to take him first. She said to let grandma enjoy a first of his, and I cried. MIL accused me of trying to manipulate her into feeling bad for something totally normal. I told her I can't believe she'd do it when she knows I won't get to do any of this again. She said I had no right to be upset with her when I said she could take him for the few hours. I said she only mentioned shopping and she knew we had it planned and booked. She said it wasn't something I should be crying over and to just enjoy what I get. I ended up leaving the room. She complained to my husband, but he shut her down and told her she knew I was still coming to terms with how bad things had been during our son's delivery and how I wanted to make the most of every moment and to be present for those firsts. He said she should understand and be helping with that instead of being so underhanded. She's saying I'm manipulative with my reaction and don't have any business being upset with her. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for laughing when my mom said she'd hope I would care for my stepdad in his old age? So for some context, my mom broke up my family when I was 6 and my brother was 11 to be with my stepdad. Our dad moved to a neighboring state and we only got to see him every other weekend. I've only connected all these details as an adult. My brother and I are now both in our 30s, and my dad didn't share details of the divorce until the last few years. To say I lost a lot of respect for my mom and stepdad is an understatement. My mom chose to replace our dad with an angry alcoholic and thought we'd make a big happy family. Hint, it never happened. I forgive them, it was years ago, but respect is gone. Growing up with them was stressful and like walking on eggshells. If I had a disagreement with my stepdad, my mom would come home and only talk to him about what happened before giving me a punishment. The day my brother graduated high school, he moved out. We both had nothing but disdain for my stepdad. He got drunk every single day and was mean. Never physically, but verbally. I'll never forget being called a whore for going on a date with my boyfriend, or us following a young woman to her home after she flipped us off on the road. After I became an adult and got married at a young age, our relationship improved. I've now been married for almost 13 years, and we have 2 little girls together. When my stepdad comes to our house, we get along great. However, we went back to their home for Thanksgiving a few years ago, and it was very stressful. Many parts of me felt like I was stepping back into high school again. Fast forward to a conversation I had with my mom recently. We were discussing children taking in their parents in their old age. Something, I might add, my mom never did for my grandma after my grandpa died. Why? Because my stepdad couldn't live with her. None of her other 3 kids took her in either, and she managed okay, passing away in her own home with my mom and aunt at her side. Anyhow, we were discussing this subject and how many parents might be taken in by their children after their spouses pass away. So, for example, my mom coming to stay with us after my stepdad passes away, my MIL, or my dad, etc. She said she hoped that if she passed away that I would consider taking my stepdad and if he were elderly. I actually laughed out loud before even considering how a reaction might hurt her feelings. First of all, even if it were my own dad, I would prefer to take in one of our moms if I'm going to be a primary caregiver. And of course, if we never actually took anyone into our home, we would still help and support them however we could. But my mom, expecting this of me with my stepdad? What magical land is this, where irony doesn't exist? I have never considered him a father figure. He played a huge role in breaking apart my family at a young age, and refused to take in my terminally ill grandma when she needed it most. None of our parents are live with us age yet. Even if they were widowed or became single, they are young enough that they'd want to be independent for a while longer. So, this topic is a while off yet, thankfully. I truly think the only person we'd actually made the commitment for is my MIL, and my mom and my dad would get other support like they offered their ailing parents. So, am I the bad person for laughing? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.